Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemons, and this week was the release of Super Mario Galaxy, the movie. And let me tell you, movies like these are big in Easter eggs and missed details. So of course, we had to leap into action. This movie's making such deep cuts for all the fans, from designs of specific levels to the music, even down to the sound effects. So let's get down to it. Let's go, some would say. Well, I wouldn't, because I'm a Birdo fan, and I guess she's a goon in this movie. But first, before we get into it, make sure to check out the latest and greatest in New Rockstars merch over at nerdriot.shop. You like wearing shirts? You like wearing a hoodie or a tee? Maybe you could wear it for your favorite fandom and be a rock star out in the wild. Buying a shirt from Nerd Riot is the best way to support the channel. Just go to nerdriot.shop and pick one out for yourself. All right, let's get into this breakdown. It's gonna be kind of long and kind of, you know, a lot.
This video was sponsored by Yamava Resort and Casino. We'll tell you more about them later on.
We officially opened the movie with Nintendo's little production logo, which is just like the last movie, but this time they're celebrating their 40th anniversary. Unlike the first movie that begins on the snowy plains of the Snow Kingdom, we begin this movie in space. We're on our way to Rosalina. Rosalina's home is at the Comet Observatory, serving as the central point for study, navigation, and system oversight within the galaxy. Built by Rosalina, it travels through space with her Lumas. The Comet Observatory also comes from the Super Mario Galaxy games, where it still acts as the home to both the Lumas and Rosalina. In the games, at the Comet Observatory, there's actually 6 domes that give you access to all the galaxies. It's the Terrace Dome, Fountain, Kitchen, Bedroom, Engine Room, and Garden. While they don't focus on those in the finer details in the movies, we are still given the library. The library wasn't a dome in Super Mario Galaxy, but you could enter it, and as you collected more Power Stars, more chapters of Rosalina's storybook opens up for you to read, which we'll talk about shortly. When Rosalina calls to the Lumas, they're hiding, and it's funny because in the games, it's pretty quick they ask you to play hide and seek and are transformed into star bunnies. We're quickly introduced to Rosalina, voiced by Brie Larson, and I'm so proud of our girl. She's the mother of the cosmos, and I think she is for both franchises now, for that and for the MCU. Captain Marvel and this are basically one and the same. Captain Marvel confirmed to be Rosalina. Genuinely? Yeah, honestly, 100%. Rosalina was a princess from space who met a lost Luma and tried to help it find its parents. However, Rosalina was also lost and lost her parents, and she got very lonely. So she created a home for herself and the other Lumas that she met. And in the story, it's a lot different here in the movie, but you know, I'll save a lot of it for the end. Also, I'm gonna spoil this entire movie. I assume you guys know that already. Every night, she tells her Lumas a bedtime story, which again is something Rosalina does do in the games. And tonight, they skip the story of Peach begging instead to hear the one about the plumbers and Donkey Kong. During this scene, one of the Lumas throws a barrel like Donkey Kong does in the games, and the other one pumps its chest with Donkey Kong's tie. There's also a baby Luma, which is also in the games. The book she's reading from is the same one from the games with the star on the cover. In the games, this book explains how Rosalina first found her way to the Lumas and to outer space, something that we'll come back to again later in the movie because there's a big reveal about it. They're then interrupted by Bowser Jr., voiced by Benny Safdie, and he shows up in this machine, and that's actually the Megaleg, a boss from Super Mario Galaxy. And in the games, Megaleg was encountered in the Bowser Jr.'s Robot Reactor boss galaxy. He's also accompanied by Kamek, who kind of works like a guardian and supporter of Bowser Jr. since losing his dad in the first movie. Bowser Jr. is here to kidnap his very own princess, just like his dad, and we'll later learn that this is kind of a common practice in this universe, or at least it's just widely known that princesses get kidnapped. It's like a common thing, which is kind of ironic because in Mario Sunshine, he was actually trying to kidnap or protect his mother Peach. Rosalina is not someone you want to fight. She's incredibly powerful. She blasts Bowser Jr., channeling her energy through her star wand, and even uses the launch stars to gain the upper hand. The fight's interrupted by a sleepy Luma calling to his mama, Rosalina, and the moment distracts just enough for Bowser to unleash a barrage of torpedoes. Torpedo Teds from the game. Luckily, the one that locks onto the Lumas and makes its way into the library is stopped, but Rosalina loses her wand in the process. Bowser Jr. then captures her and departs in his UFO. In the games, Bowser had a UFO, and he used this UFO to, yes, rip Peach's castle from the ground and kidnap Peach. We'll see this kind of play out later. With Rosalina now captured, we're now in the middle of the desert, and we see a Dry Bones messing with a Goomba, and we recognize this place from the trailers. Mario and Luigi are on their dirt bikes speeding through the dunes, and we're officially in Tostarena, the desert town in the Sand Kingdom from Mario Odyssey. We also see Pokies from the games as they wibble wobble. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. No, wobble, wibble, wibble, wobble. You know what they're doing. They're shaking it. They're shaking it. Then Mario launches into the air, pulling off this stunt straight out of Mario Kart World. When we see Mario and Luigi in the center of the city, the birds then fly away, and it's a very fun cinematic choice, but there are birds in this town that you can scare off and they fly away, and I think that's just a bit of finer details that you wouldn't have expected in the movie, but they did pay attention to. Once they arrive, they're looking over a clogged warp pipe for these little guys. They're the Tostarenans. They're based on a classic like Sugar Skulls, and typically you see them with sombreros, sometimes with maracas. Among them, you can also see the Moais from Super Mario Odyssey that you can capture and use in the game. Inside the cave, these bats fly out, and these bats you can find in Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2, and they sort of resemble the ones from Zelda. nostalgia. In the dark cave, Mario and Luigi reveal their fire flowers, the power-ups that have appeared across the Mario games, allowing you to hurl fireballs. There's so many designs for the fire flowers over the years, ones without faces, ones with faces, but these ones follow the colors of the traditional one, where we're all used to seeing the outer rings being red, then yellow, then white, with the 2 block coin slots for eyes. But these ones, the edges are more shaped to look like flower petals. When Mario simply touches the flower, the flames stretch over his hand and we hear the power-up sound effect from the games, and it burns away their ponchos for their distinct white-shirted red and green overalls that they get when they're imbued with the fire flower powers. When they make the fireballs appear, it sounds like the classic bing that they make in the classic Mario games as well. As they enter, you hear the beginning notes of the underground theme, which actually comes up a few times in this movie. Inside, we see these tiny red eyes, and when Luigi bumps into one, it's revealed to be a Buzzy Beetle. And I like that Luigi uses fireballs on it immediately, even though it would not work on a Buzzy Beetle. When they reach the pipe, they hear the growls of a monster, and it turns out to be Yoshi, voiced by Donald Glover. Yoshi is perfect in every way I've ever seen him. He's my sweet little bundle of joy and my sweet baby boo-boo. I love him and his big body. I will say, I never really thought about it, but Yoshi and Mario are like the same size, so that means like Yoshi is massive, right? He's huge. They ask Yoshi how he got there, and we get a flashback. He originally broke out of his iconic green and white shell, and it's very quick, but you can hear the sound that happens when he breaks out of his eggs in the game. And then the chaos ensues. We're about to see Yoshi's misadventures in Brooklyn before escaping in a warp pipe. They play Hypnotized by Biggie Smalls, which is very wild to do in the movie, but in the first movie, they also played BC Boys' No Sleep Till Brooklyn during the Brooklyn opening scene, so using Brooklyn artists just makes sense now. In his little adventures, we see the cat that attacked Luigi in the first movie. We also see a dog barking at him, a dog that looks like Doug from Up, but it isn't. It's actually Francis from the first movie. Yoshi swallows him and turns him into an egg. We also see Spike from the first movie in the pizzeria still, and Yoshi steals his pizza. We get a small scene where Donkey Kong is swinging on steel beams like we see in the original Donkey Kong arcade game, and I guess after saving the day in the last movie, he kind of just stayed there or went back? I don't know. Yoshi also destroys a dinosaur exhibit, and how ironic, it's dino on dino crime. Eventually, Yoshi is chased down by the authorities. During this scene, he makes the yelling noise that he makes in the games, and he makes his way through the warp pipe and has been here ever since. Then they hit it off quickly, and Yoshi takes Luigi's bike, and it's actually kind of funny this scene because I play as Yoshi in Mario Kart, and it always feels like he is the fastest character, so him zooming around like Lightning McQueen is honestly predictable. And we're back in the stars, in space, surrounded by a bunch of pirate ships, and these are Bowser Jr.'s airship armadas. This takes us to Planet Bowser in the Junkyard Galaxy. The music playing while the UFO coasts through space is actually from Super Mario Bros. 3. It's the airship theme. We'll also see Bowser Jr. in his clown car, which we also see in the games. Later, when Bowser is climbing the stairs to his roof, we'll see his attic of portraits, and one of him is actually in the clown car. Everyone's in clown cars in this movie. Bowser Jr. refers to Rosalina as the guardian of the cosmos, the mother of the stars, because she is. When Rosalina breaks free from Bowser Jr., he uses his magic paintbrush from the games. In the games, Bowser Jr. uses this magic paintbrush as a weapon created by Professor Egad, who is actually the logo on Kamek's mug in this movie. The magic brush creates goop that can create a lot of things, and we'll see him be able to spin the brush into a weapon as well. I assume this is like kind of the same goop from the games, which could be used to make the proto-piranha plants, which look different, but I think they still carry the same haunting effect. After subduing her again, we're then at Luigi and Mario's mushroom house. At the end of the first movie, after defeating Bowser, Luigi and Mario return to the Mushroom Kingdom and had already moved into this place. Inside, we learn it's Princess Peach's birthday, so instead of the comet like in the games, we're here celebrating Peach. So a bit of backstory here from the games that would maybe help explain some of the changes in the movie. To be fair, the movie is a bit of like everything of Mario Galaxy, Mario Odyssey, and even Mario Sunshine, but we'll stick to the overarching like Super Mario Galaxy of it all. So a comet passes by every 100 years, bringing with it shooting stars along with a meteor shower of star bits. In the game, the Star Festival is what they're celebrating, and Mario is on his way to go there. But suddenly, Bowser attacks with his airships. Using his UFO, he rips the castle from the ground, kidnaps Peach, and carries it away. Before Mario can even reach Peach, he's sent into space by Kamek. When Mario wakes up on a grassy planet, he meets Rosalina and the other Lumas, and her ship requires power stars to function, but Bowser had already stolen them. She offers to help Mario rescue Peach and defeat Bowser in exchange for recovering the power stars. So already, since you've already seen the movie, you notice there's a lot of changes, but the same core ideas I feel like are still in play. Mario and Luigi's bedroom looks a lot like it did in the first movie with the same posters and artwork. However, there's this brown book with a silver plumbing pipe on it. Funny enough, in the first movie, the book said Odyssey, hinting at the next adventure. But this time, or at least in the trailer footage I reviewed, it says plumbing. So they will be plumbing in the next movie. There's a poster in the back that says VWA. It has a red and green guy on it, and this is actually from Pro Wrestling, an NES game from 1986. The VWA is the promotional part of the game. And you can also see their NES console, and on the screen is Excite Bike, a 1984 racing game by Nintendo for NES. In the closet, you can also see Mario's yellow construction hat, and this is a helmet he wears as Builder Mario that first appeared in Super Mario Maker in 2015. They're celebrating, and they're eating, and they're dancing, and they're hitting pinatas. We actually see a pixeled Bowser pinata, and this is the Super Mario Bros. Like one design of Bowser. We see the penguins amongst the guests, and they're dancing their butts off. It's playing a bit of the Barkays, Too Hot to Stop. As everyone celebrates, Peach sits atop of her castle watching the fireworks, and the fireworks explode to be a mushroom and another star. This isn't new in Mario games. Fireworks go off when you reach the flag at the end, but in Super Mario World, you could actually watch the fireworks with Peach, and the fireworks do come in the shape of like a mushroom and stars in Super Mario 3D World. When Mario shows up to give her a present, it's the pink umbrella or parasol with a heart-shaped end, and as you know from the games, Peach uses this as a weapon to either defend herself or float through the air. They watch as an array of shooting stars soar across the sky, mesmerized when one big one hurls itself into the grass behind the castle. It's a Luma, and they've come for Princess Peach in hopes that she can save Rosalina. They take the Luma in and restore its health while the other toads eavesdrop. In this scene, I love every single toad, the blue feathered toad guards, especially the grumpy ones with glasses, but this one wearing the red Mario pajamas and matching Mario plushie is so freaking cute. While the toad's trying to stop Peach from traveling beyond the stars to help Rosalina, she steps up like Peach would and takes Toad with her to go beyond the stars without carrying. The two jump into a launch star created from the Luma, and Peach with her umbrella and Toad with his backpack from the first movie shoot off into space. When they shoot off like they do in the trailer, we see certain planets like the one that we saw very well in the trailers. This is the Drip Drop Galaxy, which is a galaxy in Super Mario Galaxy. The water of the ocean planet is teeming with bloopers, the ink squirting squids in Mario games. The Mushroom Kingdom is now in a panic since Peach left, and all she left was a note saying goodbye and calling Mario Mustache. It's funny because this should remind us of Super Mario 64, where Peach also writes a letter directed to Mario in the same kind of cute paper. In the meantime, Luigi, Yoshi, and Mario feel that they can fulfill Peach's duties while she's gone, and they see her kingdom map, which is really funny because it's the map from Super Mario World. It's like a really pixelated real version. It's very cute. The song that plays when the map unravels is also Donut Plains from Super Mario World. The fun part is that the areas where they need help start flashing just like the spots do on the map in the game. The first area takes us to the bridge where a toad is being mugged by two Hammer Bros. The music that plays is the Hammer Bros battle theme from Super Mario Bros. 3. They jump onto the bricks that Mario and Luigi crash through like you would in Super Mario Bros. 3 as well. Then Mario helps this toad that dropped his ice cream, and he's in blue and red overall color schemes. This is for the Ice Mario. His color matches his original look from well back in the day until Super Mario Bros. 3 when they were inverted to his original colors that we see today. He fist bumps Luigi and it freezes him into a block of ice. Every time they accomplish a task, the Mario flag comes up, and it kind of feels like in Super Mario Bros. 3, once completed, it would be like an L for Luigi or an M that would cover the completed level. It feels like that. Yoshi is then forced to capture a loose chain chomp in the Mushroom Kingdom. When he does, it's his little music from Yoshi Island from Smash Bros, which I recently learned combines Yoshi's song and the title screen for Yoshi's Story. I didn't know that. Brian actually told me that. Their next journey takes them to this lake where we see Big Bertha causing mayhem, so Luigi uses a mystery block to get the frog suit. The frog suit from Super Mario Bros. 3 is a power-up that allows the character to just jump higher and swim faster and be a frog. At one point, they're jumping off mushrooms. This is still within the Mushroom Kingdom, and they're kicking the Paragoombas. Then we see the Koopa Paratroopas. We also see Wiggler, the caterpillar from Super Mario World. This looks like the map in Super Mario World where you get Yoshi because the trees behind them have the same like red apples or berries on them. They have the iconic bricks, the yellow spinning blocks, and the rotating platforms. They're running with a blue toad that we will also see throughout a lot of this montage. When they make impact with the spinning blocks, they light up, whether it's them jumping on it or the Koopa Paratroopa's shell landing on it. Still holding the blue toad, they're now evading big Goombas or Grand Goomba. They're bigger than the regular Goombas. You can see the floating platforms, the mystery blocks, and the green, blue, and red warp pipe, all things you can find in Mario games. I don't think it was until New Super Mario Bros. Wii that we got the 4 different colors in total, the green, blue, and red and yellow warp pipes. They were just like fun in color. Some would spawn different characters like the Goombas or Bob-ombs. Then they're in the clouds, still with the blue toad. They're facing off with the Lakitu from Mario games. They throw things from their clouds, oftentimes spiny eggs. If you look closely, you can see the eyes on the cloud like in the games. Notice that when Mario lands on him, the cloud disappears and leaves him with only his green shell. In some games, you can even ride the cloud. And then they put the blue toad to bed aggressively, but not without a smooch. The last alert is from within the castle, and it's Bowser. We saw this scene in the trailer. Bowser is furiously painting red strokes, loading more paint onto his canvas. We see in the bigger part of the room, he's clearly been finding himself after being captured from the first movie. Once Bowser is at peace with his creation, he steps back to reveal the Super Mario Odyssey skeleton suit, the highest priced item in Super Mario Odyssey at a whopping 9,999 coins for the rich. Bowser depicted Mario clutching his cheeks in fear, which resembles the Scream painting, but more importantly, this has also been Luigi's signature expression throughout Luigi's Mansion. When the light turns on, you see that Bowser, well, he's small, and it's revealed that Bowser's castle is merely a tiny toy within Peach's castle. The last we saw of Bowser, Peach force-fed him a blue mushroom, which made him shrink into this little guy. Toad then scooped him up in a glass bottle, and then they shoved him into a cage with his tiny voice and his tiny piano. Now he has a little tiff with Mario, but not with Luigi because they're cool.
Super Mario Galaxy is going to be responsible for a whole new generation of Mario fans, but for a lot of us, our fandom started a long time ago when the NES reigned supreme. The original Mario Brothers from 1986 was where so many of us fell in love with Mario, and Yamava has an incredible piece of Mario history that you can win. It's the original Mario Brothers Arcade Classic Series cartridge for the Nintendo Entertainment System, unopened, in mint condition, and professionally graded at an incredible 9.4 worth $162,000. Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel is celebrating their 40-year anniversary this year. Having been there a few times now, I love it. Yamava is the only AAA 5-diamond casino hotel in the country, and as soon as you walk in, you get why. It's just such a step up from any other casino I've been to. I know when you hear casino, you might not think restaurant first and foremost, but man, every time we go to Yamava, we fall more and more in love with the Pines Modern Steakhouse. Gina routinely gets a seafood tower that's roughly the size she is, and I've had a Wagyu ribeye that I get happy just remembering. It's incredible. After we ate, we hit the casino floor, which was super fun and lively. We did a roving cocktail floor of the lounges, and when the night was done, I crashed in one of the comfiest beds I've ever slept in. Truly, if you're looking for a posh getaway, Yamava has everything you could possibly want. And if you needed any more excuses to go, you can win! It's the original Mario Brothers Arcade Classic Series cartridge for the Nintendo Entertainment System, unopened, in mint condition, and professionally graded at an incredible 9.4 worth $162,000. You must be 21, and there's more details available at yamava.com/newrockstars. Thank you so much to Yamava Resort and Casino for sponsoring this video, and congrats on 40 years. Here's to 40 more. Learn more and start planning your trip today by going to yamava.com/newrockstars or clicking the link in the description below.
Bowser sings sipping the soup, cleaning the paint. As we know, this Bowser loves singing. He's a true artist, but he's singing to his Super Mario 64 theme, yet it's a bit more attuned to the Game Boy Advance Bowser Castle theme, which is basically the same song, just remixed and a little bit faster. Bowser's mini castle has red carpet running right through it, which, along with the stonework, is in line with the portrayal in the games. There's also wall hangings with his face on them, and Bowser historically seems to just love decorating with his face. We'll see also some Koopas celebrating with his face later. The spiral staircase leads to the second floor, where you can see the infamous piano, the Peach's piano. We're also gonna hear a little snippet of that song a little bit later. On the third floor, you can see Bowser's incredible works of art that we flagged in the trailer breakdown, so I'll run by them a little bit quickly here. We see Princess Peach in her iconic pink dress posing with her crown. This, I believe, is just Mario with a red paint stroke across the eye and green above his cap. Bowser's still an artist. He makes mistakes sometimes he wants to be sloppy. Then we see smiley flowers. We've seen them a lot, mainly in Yoshi games like Yoshi Island. What's next looks like a portrait of Bowser Jr., and above that is another portrait of Bowser. You can tell by the spikes. It actually resembles the painting done by Jr. during Bowser's Fury. Below that is another portrait of Bowser. This time he's flying in the Koopa Clown ship. There's a touch of the famous Super Mario Clouded Sky as well. Below that is a painting of a bundle of piranha plants. There's also a painting of Koopa Paratroopa, the winged Koopa, and across that is a sultry portrait of Bowser. This man might be full of himself, but he's also full of perfection. He reveals his painting to Mario, which he's not impressed by, which makes Bowser so angry that he destroys it.
Still working through my demons, I suppose. Anyway.
And it seems like he's trying to be rehabilitated and become a good guy, even having a weekly book club with Luigi where he brings the soup to learn to be better, but Mario couldn't care less. A rupture beneath the castle shakes everyone inside, and this is where we get a great view of the stained glass Peach mural straight out of the Super Mario games. It's Bowser Jr. coming to rescue his father in the UFO, and when Mario recognizes how high up they pull the castle from the ground, he says his iconic "Mamma Mia."
Mamma Mia.
Bowser Jr. jumps down in his look from Super Mario Bros. Wonder, where he had more of a futuristic vibe and a face mask with a green line running through it. He turns his paintbrush into a mace and starts messing the castle up even more. And it's during this fight you actually see the Star Cup trophy for Mario Kart in the back. Fortunately enough for Bowser Jr., he's saved by Kamek and the Mega Leg, but that doesn't stop Yoshi from swallowing him up and turning him into an egg with glasses. In the chaos, the UFO stops beaming the castle and gravity takes over, dropping it hard and them dangling from the top. On the ground, the castle keeps crashing around them, and Yoshi grabs Mario Mario and Luigi, giving them their first ride on his back, which is very sweet, but also they need to get away from death. While running in the air, Yoshi does his famous flutter kick and they are safe from the castle, crushing them, but alas, Bowser is now free, but he's still small. We pass a planet with these little bunnies jumping, and we'll see them a little bit later at the Gateway Galaxy, but these are star bunnies from Super Mario Galaxy that I talked about. You gotta catch these guys at the start of the game. We also see this donut ring with vines that some people believe could be the Hedge Ring planet you can both shoot through and land on. Peach has officially begun her journey at the Gateway Galaxy, and it looks similar to how it does in the games, except it's 100 times bigger. While Peach flies into the Gateway Galaxy, you see this giant star surrounded by 3 different pods, a blue one, a pink one, and a yellow one, which makes you go, wow, what else could those 3 things symbolize or represent if not Peach, Rosalina, and some other yellow princess? Who could it be? Wario. It's Wario! I knew it was him. So I feel like they were giving Easter eggs or little breadcrumbs that it was gonna be someone at the end anyways. On the ground, we're directed by 3 robots. These are Gearmos. We see them in Super Mario Galaxy. They're basically maintenance robots, so this track, they're also just very annoying. We'll also see these little guys. These are Whittles, the tree spirits from Super Mario Galaxy 2. There's also these snail characters, which I might be pronouncing this completely wrong, and I'm so sorry. The Bublanians? They're snail creatures in the Seaside Kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey. The different transit tubes takes them to different areas, and Peach and Toad are headed to the flight decks, which have a yellow box with a ship on it, but the others must represent just different planets because that's what they're showing us. It's also here you see characters that resemble like beavers, but they're actually moles. It's Monty the Mole. We've also seen him in the teaser for the movie showing off the Mushroom Kingdom. We also see the Piantas, the island people in Super Mario Sunshine. The bunnies and the penguins are also among these characters traveling, but we've already seen them, so I don't really need to bring them up again. Peach and Toad run to the information desk to get some help, and here's where we see the Conqueror from Super Mario 3D World. There's actually a couple of them wandering around. This is also where we're alerted of Rosalina's disappearance from GTW News. They're the ones alerting everyone that she's gone, she's missing, where is she? Then we meet Ukiki, the thief, and in the games, they were still a thief. They steal Toad's backpack and then they jump through a glitchy brick wall. This leads to them in a back alley chase that leads them to a standoff, and this is when we hear the Super Mario Bros. Underground theme music again. This then leads them through another brick wall into a speakeasy. The art that they had to also come through on the other side is for Minus World, a glitch level in Super Mario Bros. That's an underwater level that just never ends. But also to find that level, you have to go through a brick wall. So it's like, oh, they had to go through a brick wall to go find this glitch. To the right of that, you also see a poster with a Spiny on it. When we see the faces of all the bar patrons, it's a lot of the same folks that we saw in the casino that I mentioned in the breakdown. We'll go over here just really quickly. Like the Octoombas, the Spinies, the Goombas, the Bob-Ombs, even the Buzzy Beetle, the green and red coin coffer, Spike, Sniffit, the Sledgehammer Bro. Back left, we see the Piranha Plant, and in front of them is Chargin' Chuck, the large Koopa that runs and tackles, and its table has a dry bones in a cage underneath. I've broken down the scene of the trailer so many times that I remember the faces, I know the faces, so when I was watching the movie, I was like, what is that red and white mask over there in a shot and an angle that we haven't seen yet? Now I recognize it's from Wart's level in Super Mario Bros. 2, and it makes sense why they didn't want to show it to us. It would give too much away. When they overlook the city, I also love that you can see the Nintendo 64 holographic logo. It looks just really nice. Now back with Mario, Yoshi, Luigi, and Bowser. Mario and Bowser get into a little tiff where Mario steps on him and he grows back into being regular size, which, like most Mario games, once you're hurt, you lose your power up. So since Bowser was made small by the mushroom, I feel like this impact just allowed him to turn back into regular size. And now we're back with Peach and Toad, who have now made it to the gravity-defying casino that we've seen in the trailers. Ukiki leads them to King Wart, voiced by Luis Guzman. Wart's from Super Mario Bros. 2. He's a giant frog, and you'd have to defeat him in the final boss battle. And like we'll see later, you have to throw a vegetable into Wart's mouth while he spits bubbles to defeat him. So it's exactly what happens here with the radish, like in the games. His goons are Birdo, who first appeared alongside the Ninja in Doki Doki Panic, where she's the first boss. And just so you guys know, Doki Doki Panic is the Japanese platformer that would be turned into Super Mario Bros. 2 and released in America in the 80s. She's a goon along with Mauser from Super Mario Bros. 2, also featured in Doki Doki Panic. And Claw Grip is the third goon that first appeared in Mario Bros. 2. In their battle, he sends out a horde of Ninja while inside the casino, and like I mentioned earlier, the Ninja were first introduced in Doki Doki Panic as well. As some of you Smash Bro fiends can already tell, a lot of Peach's fighting is in like Super Smash Bros. She's using her umbrella as a weapon like she does in the games. This is exactly why I hate fighting a Peach main. She beats you upside your head, then she'll launch you back, and I hate it. Toad also gets a penguin suit. This is a power-up that you can get in the new Super Mario Bros. Wii, and he's just sliding around the casino. At the end of the fight, Peach punts what I think is a radish into King Wart's mouth. She then takes the power-up mushroom and grows 2 sizes bigger in order to intimidate him into telling Peach where she can find Rosalina. We're then at the Honey Hive Galaxy, which is another location in Super Mario Galaxy. They support their Honey Queen, or Queen Bee, in the games like they do here in the movie, and the Queen Bee is voiced by Issa Rae. For the destruction they cause, mainly the castle destroying their flower fields, they're being forced to stay and work in the honey mines. However, However, Bowser takes it upon himself to volunteer as tribute so Yoshi, Luigi, and Mario can leave. She allows them to depart for the Gateway Galaxy on one of their flying beetles that she even says looks miserable. And these are the Mandibugs from Super Mario Galaxy. Once they leave, Bowser is then seen working on this chain gang for the other little prisoner bees. And this is when he recounts the ending of the last movie, but like in his own way, where he got stood up at the altar. Man, you tried to force her to marry you. And this is also when we hear the beginning keys to the Peach song. He's then beamed up and is by Bowser Jr. and they get to be together again. And it's actually very cute. And it's also a very funny running joke about like how Bowser just wasn't there as a father. He jokes as soon as he sees him and says, "You really grew up when I wasn't paying attention." Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. It sounds bad when it's coming out of my mouth, but it's very funny in the movie. You'll get it. Kids don't love it. We learned that when Bowser Jr. was just a baby, Bowser would tuck him in and tell him stories. There's a bunch of little stuffed creatures on Bowser Jr.'s bed, like the Bull Rusher from Mario Wonder, a Chain Chomp, and even the octopus you battle in Mario Galaxy. That night, the puppet story was about how Bowser and Bowser Jr. sought a planet that they could call home, creating Planet Bowser. It had a theme park and also the biggest cannon capable of destroying the universe called the Boomsday Weapon, which in Mario Galaxy 2 was called the Boomsday Machine, where Bowser Jr. guarded the Grand Star. In order to power it, they need Rosalina's powers, draining them in order to make it work. When we're back with Toad and Peach, they've reached the information desk, and this is where we learn that the front desk information guy is Rob. You might have played as Rob in Smash Bros. Rob was a toy released for NES in the 80s, and it was ridiculous. It was bad. It was basically kind of broken, but now he's being used as cameos, so it's kind of funny. Fun side note about the Gateway Galaxy that Rob clearly wouldn't be able to help you with because he's not really that good at his job. You can actually enter the Gateway Galaxy through Universal's promotions digitally, and Rob introduces you and tells you about the Gateway Galaxy. Then you can enter the different pipes to take you to different flight decks, and that is actually the map right behind Rob at the information desk. When they make it to the flight deck, we see a lot of funny things and fun things, and I'm sure there's a lot of details here on ships that I just couldn't catch when I'm watching this movie on a big screen, you guys. What am I gonna do? Ask them to rewind it? There's a cart of Gizmos that go by, and at the end of the cart, it has the POW blocks, and one of the spacecrafts is itty bitty teeny weeny, and the Pikmin step out. That's so cute. That's when we're introduced to Fox McCloud, voiced by Glenn Powell. Fox McCloud is the pilot of Team Star Fox that first appeared in 1993 in the game of the same name, and like his short introduction explains, yes, he's stopping the evil scientists from taking over the Lilat system, and he loves his barrel rolls. His team consists of Slippy, Peppy, and Falco. They fly R-Wings. From his story, it turns out that his ship malfunctioned, and it brought him into this different universe, this one that we're in right now, and he hasn't been able to get back. So that's very interesting. But that doesn't matter because he's very cool, and I don't care what he does. His scene has a bunch of little details, like his music mixed with what I think is a bit of his main theme music. And at one point you see Slippy from the Nintendo 64 Star Fox. When Mario and Luigi and Yoshi finally meet up with Peach and Toad, they're introduced to Fox, but not before we see Fox's cool symbol on the dashboard before we lock in. That's when we're intercepted by Bowser Jr. and Bowser, and when they could kill them, Bowser Jr. decides instead to turn them into babies with this gun. There's also a scene right here where we see a wall of weapons. I know that Torpedo Ted is one of those weapons. Again, you guys, I'm watching this in theaters. I ain't got time to pause it, and by I don't got time, I'm riding like this in the dark. They crash land on Fossil Falls, and this is the location in the Cascade Kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey. This is also where you'd find the T-Rex. You can control the T-Rex by throwing Cappy on her. The baby Mario uses his bones to tap on the T-Rex's teeth when they find it, and it's the notes to the Super Mario Bros. Theme song. And I actually laughed at this part when the babies were doing the most and didn't wake up the T-Rex, but Yoshi screamed after getting the gun down from the tree, and that awoke the beast instead. After accidentally turning themselves into babies and falling off a broken bridge into T-Rex infested waters, the babies accidentally shrink the T-Rex as well, so everyone's safe now. They then return to their adult forms, but now they're stuck on the planet trying to fix the ship. That is until they're saved by the Lumas, who were being a bunch of weirdos back home since they didn't have to go to bed. They were in their own Mario and Donkey Kong arena fights since their mom was abducted. They arrive at the Comet Observatory, specifically in the library, and Peach finds the book they never finished reading at the beginning, and it reveals that Peach and Rosalina are actually sisters, and together they're the strongest beings in the galaxy. Rosalina had to send Peach through a warp pipe to keep her safe from anyone trying to steal their powers, which is nothing like the original stories. There was an original plan for Nintendo where in early development they were going to make them related for Super Mario Galaxy, but they ended up not doing it. So quick notes, we don't know what villain was in search of Peach and Rosalina, though it is, again, good to note that princesses are pretty nice to steal in this universe, and from Bowser's story, clearly everyone's aware that Rosalina is one of the powerful beings. And number two, in Rosalina's original storybook, she talks about a tiny blue planet that she's originally from, and I wonder if it's supposed to be inspired by that, because the planet does look blue. Back with Bowser and Bowser Jr., they're giving their speech, and Bowser says, "Sometimes on this rainbow road road of life we lose our way, which we know is the worst map in Mario Kart. Maybe that's just me because I die in it all the time and I see no point. The Koopas are also holding signs with his faces on it, and again, it just matches all of Bowser's pendants and all of his decorations. Fox is now piloting Rosalina's observatory when they first approach Bowser Jr.'s armada. He evades them and their artillery, and you hear Toad yell, "Do a barrel roll," which is what Peppy says in the games.
Do a barrel roll!
Then he launches Peach, Yoshi, Luigi, and Mario through a star launcher, sending them straight toward Planet Bowser. They evade these massive rocks, however, I believe that these are another location. The Freeze Flame Galaxy in Super Mario Galaxy, specifically the Lava Core planet that you visit during the Missing Freeze Flames Blistering Core mission. When Mario and Peach are outrunning the Koopa security, they fall through a trap door, and it's really giving Super Mario 64, which does lead you to Bowser's trap. We saw bits of their escape through this level in the trailers, and we see the gravity gauntlets, and you can see the floating message block. That's the one from Super Mario World. Meanwhile, Bowser Jr. is watching them through his security system cameras that work like a video game. It's like a tiny little 8-bit Mario and Peach, and it's clearly a mock of a Bowser level. Bowser Jr. sends a bunch of bob-ombs on them, but luckily the two evade them as well. And at the end, after successfully making it through Bowser Jr.'s level, the Super Mario 1 Castle Flag music plays. Saddened but determined to be the best dad he can be, Bowser challenges them in honor of his son. On the bridge, he faces off against Peach and Mario, axes in hand, and this is all inspired by Super Mario Bros. When you have to get past Bowser, who's throwing axes at you, and once you reach the golden one, it breaks the bridge with him falling into the lava, which is exactly how it plays out in this movie. But Bowser then returns as Dry Bowser that first appeared in New Super Mario Bros. As a result of Mario dropping him into lava, so we're doing it again here. Mario takes on Bowser and Bowser Jr. by himself while Peach rescues Rosalina. The 1-on-2 with Mario is just not fair. Bowser Jr. has already donned his Bowser's Fury power-up. Luckily, Luigi and Yoshi arrive to help, and they have power-ups: the Drill Mario, Cloud Luigi, and Blimp Yoshi. Drill Mario comes from Super Mario Bros. Wonder. After taking the drill mushroom, he'll take upon this form. He can drill into breakable objects and burrow underground and into the ceiling. Cloud Luigi comes from Super Mario Galaxy 2, once obtaining the Cloud Flower, and Blimp Yoshi is a power-up in Super Mario Galaxy 2. After Yoshi eats the Blimp fruit, he'll turn into a light blue ball and float like a balloon. Once making severe impact with the ground, both Luigi and Mario lose their power-ups. Yoshi was unfortunately less than helpful until he smacks the magical paintbrush from Bowser Jr.'s hands. Luigi immediately draws as best as he can, and he creates Mr. Game & Watch, who feels very useless, but like in Super Smash Bros., his abilities are too powerful. Then in retaliation, once Bowser Jr. gets the magical paintbrush back, he instantly creates a moat of paint that transforms into a dragon, and I think this is the ruined dragon you fight in Super Mario Odyssey's Ruined Kingdom. The beast swallows Jr., and then Mario powers up one last time, turning into the Flying Mario from Super Mario Galaxy. It's activated by touching a red star. It allows him to fly and gather a bunch of stuff nearby by spinning, and that spinning move is what he does to rip Bowser out of that stomach. Happily, Bowser Jr. is now reunited with Bowser, and Peach and Rosalina make enough contact for their combined Cosmo-filled powers to destroy Planet Bowser, forcing the planet to terraform into a green, beautiful garden planet. The day was saved by 2 sisters and 2 brothers, plus Yoshi. Now back with the Lumas, they want to visit the Mushroom Kingdom, only to learn that it was destroyed when Bowser Jr. pulled it from the ground, from the sky, and to fall back down into the ground. They start rebuilding the Mushroom Castle, and genuinely this looks like it's directly out of Super Mario Maker. And the castle is on its last touches when Mario hits a power block, gaining the feather to get his cape to fly Peach's flag to the top of it. We learn that Bowser and Bowser Jr. are now in prison, a prison guarded by the weird blue Luma who is scaring them with their sadness and despair. And right when you think the movie is over, we get a reveal at the Gateway Galaxy. A little hand knocks Ukiki in the face, and it's Daisy! She stops Ukiki from stealing another person's bag, and we wanted Daisy. I mean, let's be real, who doesn't want Daisy? I do want Wario, but no, I want Daisy first. She was first introduced in Super Mario Land in 1989, and Daisy doesn't really hold the spotlight, but I'll tell you what, if it's Mario Tennis, it's me, her, and Birdo every day. I will say, even though we're getting Daisy, I think there's plans for Star Fox, leaving that door open, and that's it for our Super Mario Galaxy movie breakdown. From almost every Easter egg to big cameo reveals, this was made for deep fans. And I know I missed a lot because I watched this in theaters and there was so many sounds, so much music. If we did like a breakdown of when the DVD is out, oh my God, there's gonna be so much things. I know that there were definitely spacecrafts at the Gateway Galaxy that I just couldn't. And I kept being like, like, what's his name? Captain Falcon?
Captain Falcon?
Is it Captain Falcon? Yeah, I was like, talking to you. This is gonna be in the breakdown. Captain Falcon's ship is probably in there. Who else flies a ship? Everybody that flies a ship is probably there in that cameo, and I just could not make out those ships.
And thanks again to Yamava Resort and Casino for sponsoring this video. Click the link in the description below to start planning your trip and to find out more about how you can win the original Mario Brothers Arcade Classic Series cartridge for the Nintendo Entertainment System, unopened in mint condition and professionally graded at an incredible 9.4 worth $162,000.
Comment down below with your thoughts on the movie. Let me know what your favorite Easter eggs were. Let me hear how happy you are for Daisy. Are you? And a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Marissa Miranda, who supports us at the executive producer level, and a big thanks to studio tech Brian Kim and Berg for helping me do research for this video. My Nintendo babies. Big thanks to New Rockstars editor Joshua Stephen Hurd and Abby Freel and supporting editors for their work on this video. Follow me at Lulu_Clemons. Subscribe to all the channels on the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Birdo, get your booty back here, girl. Take me out with Birdo.